Welcome to the podcast show, Timeless Conversations. Today we have a great mind and a shining star from a different era. Good afternoon, Marcus Aurelius. Thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
Good afternoon, Jane. It's a pleasure to speak with you as well.
I was always fascinated by your life and writings. I would love to hear more about your background and how you came to assume power as the Roman emperor.
Sure, Jane. I was born in Rome as Marcus Annius Catilius Severus, and my family had a long history of political and military service in the Roman Empire. My great-grandfather rose to the rank of praetor under Emperor Vespasian, and my grandfather held the office of consul 3 times.
That's quite an impressive lineage. How did you become the emperor of Rome?
Well, after the early death of my father, I was raised in my grandfather's house. Emperor Hadrian took notice of me at a young age and even nicknamed me Verissimus, meaning the most truthful. He had me admitted to the Salian priestly college at the age of 8.
That's fascinating. How did you become the adopted son of Antoninus Pius?
Hadrian adopted the senator Antoninus Pius with the provision that he would adopt both Lucius Verus and me. After Antoninus Pius became emperor, he changed Hadrian's arrangements and broke the engagement between Lucius Verus and Faustina, betrothing her instead to me. I was designated as heir to the throne at the age of 18 and held my first consulate the following year.
It sounds like you were groomed for leadership from a young age. What challenges did you face during your reign?
As you might know, Jane, my reign marked the end of a phase of internal and external stability and prosperity for the Roman Empire. I had to face exceptional challenges, such as a catastrophic flooding of the Tiber, the Antonine Plague, and the persecution of Christians within the Roman Empire. I also had to take action on several fronts against invading enemies on the borders of the empire.
That must have been quite difficult. What were some of your accomplishments as emperor?
I set domestic political accents in legislation and jurisdiction by relieving the lot of the disadvantaged in Roman society at the time, especially slaves and women. I also spent the last decade of my life mainly in the military camp, where I wrote the self-reflections and meditation that present me to posterity as a philosopher emperor.
That's impressive. What do you hope to be remembered for in history?
I hope to be remembered as a just and compassionate ruler who strove to improve the lives of his people, and as a philosopher who left behind a legacy of wisdom and introspection.
Let's talk a little bit about your early education. You had several tutors. 3 of them were Greek and 1 was Latin.
Yes, Jane. I had 3 Greek tutors, Anninus Macer, Caninius Celer, and Herod Atticus, and 1 Latin tutor, Frontin. Anninus Macer and Caninius Celer were not as influential as Herod Atticus and Frontin. The latter 2 were the most esteemed orators of their time, and probably became my guardians after my adoption by Antoninus in 138. They played a significant role in my training in public speaking and rhetoric, which was an essential skill for a Roman aristocrat.
Could you tell us more about them and their influence on your philosophical orientation?
Despite Herod Atticus being an inveterate opponent of Stoicism, which is the philosophy that I later became a follower of, I learned a great deal from him, especially the importance of the Greek language. The preponderance of Greek tutors indicates the importance of the Greek language for the aristocracy of Rome. Herod Atticus was a controversial figure, an extremely wealthy Athenian who was quick to anger, and his fellow Athenians resented him for his condescension. He found the Stoics' desire to have a lack of feeling foolish, and according to him, they would live a slow and bitter life. On the other hand, my tutor Frontin enjoys a very good reputation among old lovers of Latin literature. He is considered the second after Cicero, perhaps even as an alternative to him, and he is the most famous Roman orator of his time. He had a complete mastery of Latin and was able to trace expressions through literature, produce obscure synonyms, and question minor irregularities in the choice of words of others. Much of the correspondence between Frontin and me has survived, and it makes it possible to trace the daily life of mine as emperor. Frontin never became my full-time teacher and pursued his career as a lawyer. He warned me very early on against the study of philosophy, but I later became a Stoic.
It's fascinating to learn about your philosophical orientation, Marcus Aurelius. You seem to follow classic Stoic positions from Zeno of Citium to Epictetus, highlighting the helplessness of human beings in the face of divinity and destiny. Your work is a complete synthesis of the philosophical movement. How did you manage to remain guided by philosophy during the difficult times of your public and personal life?
It is true, Jane, that my philosophical orientation is heavily influenced by Stoicism. I firmly believe that man is capable of remaining indifferent to any situation, positive or negative. The only concepts that matter are moral good and moral evil. Death, poverty, disease, and failure, like their opposites, should only provoke indifference. By following one's reason, one can remain unchanged in the most challenging moments.
That's a remarkable philosophy. It must have helped you remain steadfast during difficult times. You've also mentioned non-Stoic philosophers like Socrates, Epicurus, Plato, Democritus, and Heraclitus as examples of great men. How did they influence your thinking?
These great men, including Socrates, are examples of moral rectitude, acceptance of fate, and wisdom despite the pettiness of their opponents. They also illustrate the fleetingness of glory and the uncertainty of the true fate of the human soul, even for these great men themselves. The fact that they could not escape death and that their fame was ephemeral makes me realize the insignificance of my life in relation to the universe.
That's an interesting perspective. You also mentioned the importance of writing as a refuge. Can you tell me more about that?
Well, Jane, writing allows me to reflect on my thoughts and emotions, which helps me to remain centered and focused. It's a way to retreat from the chaos of the world and enter into a peaceful state of mind. By writing down my thoughts, I can gain clarity on my beliefs and values, which guides me in my daily life.
That's a great way to stay centered and focused. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Marcus Aurelius. It's been a pleasure speaking with you. In part 2 of our podcast, we will dive deeper into your family life and philosophical views and orientation.
Thank you, Jane. It's been a pleasure speaking with you as well. Hope it was useful for your audience and looking forward for the next conversation with you.